Greetings and salutations. Thank you for lending an ear to the voice of the times. This Monday, September 20, 2021. For today's editorial, PNP and China collaborate versus transnational crimes. Efforts to eliminate trade barriers are meant to stimulate economic growth and development, but they can also be exploited by criminal syndicates. That is why we welcome the initiative of the Philippine National Police, or PNP, and China's Ministry of Public Safety to strengthen their collaboration against transnational crimes. Last November, 15 countries signed the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP agreement, creating the largest free trade area in the world. It covers a third of the world's population, including the Philippines. The other members of the Association of Southeast Nations, China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and New Zealand. They also represent $26.2 trillion of global gross domestic product. Then, earlier this month, the PNP released a statement about cooperating with Chinese authorities on enforcing mutual laws and fighting international crimes. RCP and police cooperation seem to have materialized independently of each other, but with borders opening up for international trade, it is timely to strengthen safeguards against the movements of illegal goods. The initiative by the PNP and Chinese authorities wish to follow a multi-agency law enforcement framework, such as the International Criminal Police Organization, or Interpol. They hope to work against a broad scope of criminal activities, including the illegal drug trade. That should resonate with the Duterte government, which has been waging a war against illicit drugs since 2016. The PNP Chief Director General Guillermo Lorenzo Eleazar recently told the Manila Times in an interview that investigators still experience difficulties in gathering evidence against big-time drug lords and syndicates, and this problem is compounded when suspects are based outside the country. Another challenge involves controlling the trade of precursors, used in making illegal substances. Precursors may be chemicals or ingredients that may be legal because they are used by industries for lawful products, but they become illegal when used to make prohibited drugs. In 2016, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, or UNODC, reported that the largest sources of precursors used in heroin and synthetic drugs were China and India, but law enforcement efforts may be paying off. In its 2021 report, UNODC wrote this about amphetamine-type substances. Seizures of precursor chemicals under international control used in the manufacture of methamphetamine have strongly declined in the past decade, as manufacturers continue to change the chemicals they use to bypass interdiction. Media assist. Investigative journalism may also be contributing to the fight against illegal drugs. Just last month, for instance, the New York Times magazine published a report linking a fentanyl global ring with chemical companies in China. That story also quoted the U.S. State Department saying there were between 160,000 and 400,000 Chinese chemical firms operating legally, illegally, or somewhere in between. The magazine piece also mentioned investigations into one of those suspicious firms, Zaran Biotech, that may be a shell company in Hong Kong but with addresses in China. Another investigative piece by Infobae, a news website in Argentina, also reported on several chemical companies in China that may be supplying precursors for fentanyl, including Shuyang Biotechnology Company Limited in Jingtai, a county in Shandong Province, that describes itself as a state-owned enterprise on its website. Note that China's hard line on illegal drugs is well known. Violators of its anti-illegal drug laws face stiff penalties, including life imprisonment and capital punishment. China even clamped down on its fentanyl-type substances in 2019 that also restricted precursors used illegally. However, we know that criminals can be resourceful, if not intrepid. The UNODC mentioned that illegal drug makers may be changing their recipes, now that the authorities have discovered the precursors that they were using. The UNODC also reported that drug syndicates seem to have adjusted to the pandemic, which has disrupted global supply chains and limited movements of people all over the world. UNODC noted that illegal drug shipments have become larger in volume. More are transported to private aircraft and waterways, and some deliveries to end users have even become contactless. Also, drug sales over the dark web have quadrupled from 2011 to 2020, with an estimated value of $315 million. As criminal methods evolve, so must law enforcement strategies and tactics, and like in global trade, nations must work together against common threats. And that's the editorial for Monday, September 20, 2021. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print, subscribe to our digital edition, or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and listen to The Voice of the Times.